could hear him pounding. So all you want to do is rescue that person.
Is there anyone down there? I said, yes, there's 2 of us.
This is an ABC 7 News special report. From the Rubble, a mission to save lives.
Hello. A group of local men and women are putting their own lives on the line in their mission to save lives in our area, across the nation, and around the globe. I'm Allison Starling. In the next half hour, we'll introduce you to the unsung heroes from the Fairfax County, Virginia Fire Department who are specially trained to respond to disasters. This urban search and rescue task force operates out of its base in Chantilly, Virginia, patrolling the streets of Fairfax as a local resource for area residents. With nearly 200 specially trained rescuers, their jobs range from emergency manager to doctor to paramedic and specialists in structural engineering, collapse rescue, hazmat, and heavy rigging. When the federal government deploys them to respond to national disasters and terrorist attacks, they're known as Virginia Task Force 1. From navigating Hurricane Katrina's floodwaters to nearly every other domestic hurricane, the team has provided rapid rescue response since forming in 1986. When the missions take them abroad, they are called USA 1. From the rubble of Haiti's killer earthquake in 2010 to other devastating international disasters, they have been on the front lines around the globe. And now, a closer look at this local team saving lives during history's darkest moments, pulling victims from the rubble. Our Tim Barber is on assignment.
All right. Ready? Let's do this.
A mistake on our end causes injury or death to one of our own.
Easy. Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
So this is no game.
Stop.
We go in focused on our mission of searching and finding and saving those live victims.
In times of crisis, this elite rescue team rushes into danger.
Save people. That's their main goal, rescue.
Only 2 rescue teams are uniquely qualified to help during national and international disasters representing the United States, Los Angeles County and Fairfax County.
You know, you're representing your country, your state, your fire department, your county, your family.
Engine 420, burn outside fire, Hillwood Avenue.
People that work for us on the team are actually the women and men that ride the fire trucks and the medic units in Fairfax County on a daily basis.
You ready to go? Yeah. All right, rock and roll, Zach.
But when the federal government sends them to help during national tragedies, the group is called Virginia Task Force 1.
Get to work alongside with the best people, get the best equipment, the best backing.
When they are dispatched to international disasters, the team is USA 1.
This is a very prestigious team, and it's absolutely an honor and a privilege to be on it.
August 29, 2005. A Category 3 storm hits the Gulf Coast with 127-mile-an-hour winds. So much water builds, the levees that were supposed to protect New Orleans give way and flood the community. Hurricane Katrina is the most catastrophic natural disaster in U.S. history, killing more than 1,800 people and causing tens of billions of dollars of damage. Virginia Task Force 1 was there for it all, heading straight into the deadly floodwaters to save lives. March 11, 2011. The Earth begins to rumble a couple miles northeast of Tokyo, Japan. The 9.1 magnitude earthquake sends 30-foot waves crashing into the coast. The earthquake and the tsunami that followed killed more than 20,000 people. USA 1 was sent in for the survivors. One of the task force's most memorable missions was on January 12, 2010.
Well, because it was just so extreme in every way.
A 7.0 magnitude earthquake ravaged Haiti.
We were the first international search and rescue team on the ground.
The team was there for 16 days. Most of the rescues were in the first week from 3 search sites.
When I stood there looking at my first search site, I just thought, oh my goodness, are we ready for this? There's no way you can replicate a training that looked like what we saw in Haiti.
With 26 people saved, that's a huge number, but you always wonder, could there have been a 27th or 28th person?
The dogs had to work through all kinds of distractions. There were animals running around, there was garbage everywhere. Of course, there was a lot of death and destruction.
More than 220,000 people were killed, including 122 Americans. 300,000 more people were injured. The damage was worth billions of dollars.
One time in Haiti, we pulled this lady out, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's out there except for her family. So we crawled her out, and we walked out of the compound. Everybody started clapping, and now we know what a rock star feels like, and that's what it felt like.
The task force rose out of the rubble of the 1985 Mexico City earthquake. The federal government wanted teams that could work quickly and effectively with countries around the world.
The stakes are very high, and we need to get to this person as quick as possible, treat them, and get them out.
Since then, the local first responders had been dispatched to dozens of disasters around the globe.
You can't even speak to them language-wise, but they're come down and they just get it.
From the East Coast earthquake to the earthquake in Haiti.
No matter what their perception of us is, by what they know, what they saw in the news, or what somebody told them, that doesn't matter because they see it.
While these local heroes are away on missions, here at home, the federal government pays other Fairfax County first responders overtime to cover their shifts.
It's a team effort, and everybody's got to do their job.
The federal government spends $1 million a year to support the team.
So that's pretty special to have that opportunity. We don't take that lightly, and we like to represent Fairfax County and the citizens that provide us this opportunity.
Not to mention the cost of missions, which vary. Domestically, FEMA projects an average cost of $1.5 million for a 14-day deployment with 80 people and equipment. International trips can cost millions more. But the money does not just come from the federal government, it can also come from donations. Still, with President Trump focusing on America first, the future of this elite group remains a mystery.
If it wasn't for Virginia Task Force 1, do you think you'd be alive?
I'm quite sure that if they had not come and rescued me, that I would not be alive.
Survivors like Dan Woolley say the task force is worth every penny.
I know what it feels like to be waiting and hoping that there's someone out there who can help you and who can rescue you.
You spend a lot of time doing whatever you can to get to them.
But when they finally pull that person out and they're smiling, then that's why you do what you do.
There is little time to reflect on those high moments or on the horror.
And with the smells and the sounds, it just opens up a whole other aspect where seeing it in a Time magazine or watching the nightly news, it just doesn't put it in perspective how wide and big that is.
Often the scariest feeling is the unknown.
When you're crawling through the tunnels, do you hear those cries for help?
You hear them pounding, and sometimes they're pounding for help, and you don't know where it's coming from. The echo sounds are all over.
It's a scary feeling because you could miss somebody.
Training is the key to saving lives. Next, we travel to Los Angeles to witness exercises that keep this team on top.
Within 3 seconds, everything started crashing down around me.
And later, learn what it's like to be pulled from the rubble. Virginia Task Force 1 is made up of local volunteers who rush toward danger. But dispatching fast enough to save lives is not easy. Our Tim Barber traveled to Los Angeles for a training mission to see how the elite group prepares to jump into action.
Search and rescue is dirty and dangerous.
The adrenaline takes over. You're not even tired because all you want to do is rescue that person.
We followed Virginia Task Force 1 through narrow tunnels to learn how the group saves lives.
You're excited because this is what you trained to do. This is what we want to do. This is what save people. That's our main goal, rescue.
The more realistic we can make it for the team members, the more interested they are. And, we want to challenge them. We don't want to do the same thing over and over again.
Each year, the group also performs a 72-hour training exercise.
Have to make access to them. Is possibly trapped.
Only Los Angeles and Fairfax counties have teams like this. We traveled with the Fairfax team while they practice at Los Angeles' training facility.
The first thing that I think we need to keep in mind is this is a training exercise. We try to make it as realistic as we can.
The first stop is a simulated border crossing.
I need a manifest up front with all the names right now. Coming.
Which looks and sounds real.
Kennedy.
Then the task force drops off 59,000 pounds of gear. And sets up a village of tents.
We want to make sure that when we offer assistance to a country that's been affected, that we're sending the best that we can send, which means best equipped and best trained.
The exercises are not just about strength.
Hey, sitting down right there.
They're about strategy.
Call on the blue.
This task force member dangles above an 80-foot canyon.
Keep going. Call on blue.
Held by his team.
Lock it off.
This is definitely something that's making them think today.
Ready? Up. Go.
Matt Burns heads the operation.
Yeah, just lift it up, guys.
The 14-year veteran knows this exercise to save a dummy in the canyon will eventually help the team save real lives.
Stabilize the broken leg.
They're using an old-fashioned system of ropes and pulleys under the supervision of new technology, which captures the daring exercise from the air.
You know, a lot of eyes are on you, and we have a lot of people that come through and visit with us, and they expect a lot from us when they come in here. So you have to keep on your toes. You have to keep on the most current training.
The moon falls, the sun rises. Even before the lights come up on the San Gabriel mountain range, the next morning the group is back at work.
Now attach it to your harness.
This time rescuing a fake patient whose car slid off a cliff.
They're gonna be taking up slack on red with you, okay? Let's go. Let's go. All right, you ready?
Around the corner, another group, carefully cutting and hacking their way to a dummy stuck under concrete.
What the beauty of it is since it is training, we can stop and go whenever we need to stop and go to make sure that the people are learning the right points.
This week, the patients are fake, but the situations are realistic.
Throw some curveballs to them, some uniqueness to it, some challenges to them. It really makes them try and think outside the box.
Over the mountain, a Black Hawk lands. The door opens, search dogs jump into action. The canines scour a staged disaster zone, sniffing for people posing as patients.
He has his own emotions and moods similar to me, and we can read each other.
The team scours this staged disaster zone, sniffing for signs of life.
There's an actual joy, a happiness in working with these dogs.
Boy.
Each exercise might look like a game, but when disaster strikes, the training means the difference between life and death.
You think about the ones that you saved, but you think more about the ones you couldn't. So that's always the hard part.
That was the first moment where I really had that hope that I'm not just stuck here, that this isn't the way my story ends.
When we come back, we take you inside the rubble, an amazing tale of survival when we return. We've seen what it takes to be on Virginia Task Force 1 and how the team pulls people from the rubble. Now we show you what it's like to be on the other side. Tim Barber flew to Colorado to talk to one man who was trapped in the darkness and given a new life.
Within 3 seconds, everything started crashing down around me. At first, I wondered if I was dead. It was absolutely terrifying.
Dan Woolley was trapped under a 6-story hotel with only days to survive.
Did you ever give up hope? Did you ever say, this is it?
Well, from the very start, I kind of assessed my odds, and I knew that this was a catastrophic quake. I knew there had to be destruction throughout Haiti. And I knew that I was at the bottom of a 6-story hotel that had collapsed. So I put my odds at about 30% to survive. I was gravely injured.
Woolley was working for the nonprofit Compassion International on January 12, 2010, when a 7.0 earthquake ravaged Haiti.
I heard and felt what felt like explosions. It seemed like I was on a battlefield. The foundations of the hotel were shaking.
Woolley was walking through the lobby of the Hotel Montana when the concrete walls started to ripple.
I quickly looked for someplace safe, you know, a table to get under or a door frame or something, but there was no safe place to run to. I saw this arch and I saw it just kind of topple back and forth, and it seemed to kind of slow down. And then I saw it come down, and then everything went dark. As I was walking with my colleague, and I never saw him again.
Nearly 200 other hotel guests were also killed. Woolley only heard the voices of the other people who were trapped, so the father of 2 started writing letters to his family.
I'm still praying that God will get me out. He may not, but he will always take care of you. The hardest thing I went through probably was writing those last words, as I thought, my last words to my family and to my boys and to my wife.
After 2 days at the bottom of an elevator shaft without food or water, hope arrived in the form of a flashlight.
Started banging on some metal sheeting that was cutting off the top of the elevator shaft, which was laying horizontally now, and into the shaft, and I started yelling and yelling and yelling.
I saw a light coming down in the elevator shaft.
I heard a little, a human voice.
Sam called out to me and said, you know, I know where you are, we're gonna try and get to you. I saw Sam's face looking down at me.
Went down in between the 2 elevator doors and honestly surprised the heck out of me. There was 2 people that had been there for days. I was able to grab them a couple waters that I carried in my pocket and handed them a flashlight, and they hadn't seen light in a couple days as well.
He brought a flashlight and he brought water, and those things were sanity to me, and they were life. I mean, that for me was just tangible hope.
Go back up, come back down a few trips back and forth. By the time we were able to clear out some rubble on top, squeeze down at them, set up a rope system.
I can feel everything in that moment. That you know, just that was the first moment where I really had that hope that I'm not just stuck here. That this isn't the way my story ends.
After 6 hours of work, Gray and the team pulled Woolley out of the rubble.
Once he got me strapped in and he started pulling me out, all of a sudden there's, you know, 5-6 guys up above me, and I realized, wow, you know, there's a whole team of people that's here just for me. At one point, this guy says to me, if you look over your shoulder, you'll see the sun. And you're not supposed to look at the sun, but I looked over my shoulder and I just stared at that sun until everything turned green and black, because that for me was the moment I knew I'm actually out.
Wow, what a story. Well, the locally based Task Force 1 costs millions to operate, and with a president focused on putting America first.
You know, it's hard to put, you know, money on somebody's life.
We explore the future of this rescue group that performs missions around the world. Virginia Task Force 1 has been doing missions for more than 30 years. The operation has cost millions of dollars, but has saved lives across America and around the world. With President Trump now putting a focus on America first, Tim Barber explores what's next for this elite rescue group.
When you walk around this, do you have a new sense of appreciation?
Each day is a gift.
6 months after the earthquake, after Dan Woolley recuperated back home in Colorado Springs, he flew to Virginia to meet his heroes.
How do you begin to thank them?
I haven't figured out the best way to thank them except to do it.
When I got to meet him in a completely different context was absolutely amazing. He looked a hell of a lot better.
For them, I was one of the few people that they rescue that they get to see again.
For the members of Virginia Task Force 1, saving lives is just part of the job.
For us, it's we go from one job or whatever we want to call it to another.
The high is when a dog goes and barks, and a couple hours later, they extricate a child that's alive and well.
But there's been a change of tone in the United States with an emphasis of putting America first and reining in the budget, which has affected agencies across the federal government. So far, the task force has not been touched.
Why should this group stick around?
Our ability to help people.
The group is not just about saving lives, it also represents the United States, providing humanitarian aid and training around the world.
We put up tents at hospitals for kids and hand out supplies.
Well, sometimes it's not always about the lives that we save, it's about what we're doing for the affected country.
And task force members show no signs of slowing down.
I'm not planning on stopping till I have a reason to.
That's just fine with Dan Woolley.
If it wasn't for Virginia Task Force 1, do you think you'd be alive?
I'm quite sure that if they had not come and rescued me, that I would not be alive.
Neither would the baby boy Woolley had a year and a half after the earthquake.
We named him after a Bible character, Samuel, but we also made the connection with Sam, my rescuer.
If you want a closer look at Virginia Task Force 1, we put more amazing pictures and video of these dedicated men and women on WJLA.com. Special thanks to them for giving us a window into their mission to save lives. I'm Allison Starling. Thank you for watching.